just say something here? We're talking about this election. Republicans are magnificent at one thing. They're a marvel at losing, and they deserve to lose. Republicans deserve to lose. You're in a position that you deserve. And I'm not talking about the establishment. I'm not talking about Fox News, though I think a lot of conservative media has been entirely about preaching to an echo chamber and making sure that you collect those dollar bills, not about getting your ideas out to another form. That's why everything we do is free and accessible. Difference of opinion. But they always make the wrong decision. And that's all of you. You all bear some responsibility. A majority of you, right? A lot of you didn't. But let's look, for example, in Barack Obama, right? In 2012, that was an election that was pretty important. The Obamacare rollout, the Affordable Care Act, wildly unpopular. Wildly unpopular. Democrats weren't happy with it because the public option wasn't included. Of course, Republicans were always opposed to it. Now it was effectively a giant kickback to insurance companies, which we now know. Rollout was difficult, had to be extended, was an absolute premiums going up, deductibles going up, prices skyrocketing. It was wildly unpopular. That was the weak point on Barack Obama. Think of it as a video game. That's the flashing weak spot you're supposed to hit with your laser gun. So, who did Republicans nominate? They nominated the only other single person in the history of mankind, not the United States, all of the world, to have signed a health care mandate into law. The only person to have not done that, the only person to have done that not named Barack Obama, is Mitt Romney. That's who Republicans ran. And so he ran like a sackless monkey, not willing to attack Barack Obama on the one weak point that could have won the election. That's a huge reason why Republicans lost. That's the pivotal point. Here in this election, there is one really significant weak spot with Hillary Clinton. She has the second highest unfavorability rating of any presidential candidate in the history of American politics. Second highest ever. That's her weak spot. Why? Because she's a flip-flopper, she's inconsistent, and people think she's a liar. They think she's untrustworthy. Second highest unapproval rating ever. So, all Republicans need to do is nominate someone with even a moderately high unfavorability rating. Just an average one. What do Republicans do, as it looks they're going to do? They find and will nominate the single person with the number one highest unfavorability rating of any candidate of all time in Donald Trump. There are so many people out there right now with Hillary Clinton, with her unfavorability rating, they are looking to vote for anyone not named Hillary Clinton. The only person who they will also put on that list and more is Donald Trump. Now, Republicans, you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. Now, we're talking about this. Let's get into the numbers, and then we'll get into the principles of it, okay? I'm not a political pundit necessarily, but I watch all of these people, and they talk, and they get it so wrong. Okay, the last election, Romney-Obama was determined by about 5 million votes, 60 million to 65 million. That's what determined that election. If you listen to really conservative sources like Rush Limbaugh or Mark Levin, they estimate as high as 4 to 5 million registered Republican conservative voters did not come out to vote for Romney, who even voted for McCain. So they say 4 million less than McCain. Skeptics say it's only about 1 to 1.5 million. Let's split the difference and be fair. Let's call it 3 million. 3 million less Republicans voted for Romney than McCain because they didn't think he was conservative enough. What killed Romney was not the independent vote. What killed Romney was that cavalry never came over the hill. Now, if you look at the numbers that we have, Donald Trump is the one candidate who will have the highest number of Republicans who guaranteed will not vote for him. He's that candidate. He will have far more Republicans who will not come out and vote for him. Okay? So he's starting at, let's conservatively say, a deficit of 10 million when compared to McCain or Romney. He's starting at that deficit. So people are saying he's going to get so many moderates. He's going to get so many Democrats. You believe that the guy who's going into a general with a deficit of millions, based on the polls that we have available to us, you can't throw them out when they're not convenient, in a general election, with the single highest unfavorability rating in a general election of all time, is somehow going to magically gain more Democrats and more independents than any candidate running since before Reagan. That's your gamble? It's a high-risk gamble. That's not inherently wrong, right? A high-risk gamble you make. Why? Trump knows this. Art of the deal. If it's a high reward, okay, that's a high-risk gamble. It's the highest risk gamble Republicans can make. What's the reward? You get a borderline lifelong Democrat, pro-choice, anti-Second Amendment, anti-free speech, for bankruptcies, serial admitted philanderer, divorcee, who didn't have an opinion on partial birth abortion, guns, illegal immigration, was flip-flopped on that until he decided to run for election. That's your reward. Whether he's your guy or not, that's your very, very high risk reward. And the reason his supporters, the sole redeeming reason, they don't deny that, is it's based on the idea that Donald Trump is a great businessman. So again, we've gone through the numbers. Great businessman. That's his selling point. Okay, let's use the numbers that Trump used himself. Okay? In 82, he said he was worth $500 million. Of course, he was estimated to be worth about $200 million. He said $500 million. If he'd have taken that money, put it in an S&P index fund, he would be worth today, at the rate of increase that was, I think, about over that course because of the boom in the 80s, over 11%, $20 billion. If he put it in an unmanaged index fund and never touched it, $20 billion. He claims to be worth $10 billion. That's twice what he claims to be worth. Now, that's what he claims to be worth, okay? The closest thing we have to a third-party analysis was Deutsche Bank. They put it at $750 million. Forbes has him listed at about $3 billion. Donald Trump varies based on many, many billions depending on the day. This is a guy who inherited anywhere between $40 and $200 million from his father when he got started, okay? His business would have done better if he'd have done nothing with that money. Also 4 bankruptcies and left people holding the bag. So you're talking about it. By the way, he sued a publication for saying that he was worth $250 million twice. Because he sued them for what? $5 billion because he said they were lying. Guess what? He lost twice in a court of law. Why? Because the court deemed that the estimation of $250 million wasn't proven to be inaccurate by Donald Trump himself. He wasn't able to. So he lost that case twice. So, again, let's recap this. You have somebody who is going into a general with a deficit of Republicans, according to the data, of more than any Republican candidate that we've had in recent memory, probably 10 million. He has the single highest unfavorability rating of any candidate running in the history of ever. Running against Hillary Clinton will somehow magically win over a number of independents and Democrats not seen in decades, who is a serial philandering, lie about everything candidate who's never been consistent on a single issue until the last 6 months, and even those he's flip-flopped because you believe he's a good businessman. And you believe he's a good businessman because he inherited $200 million from his dad, and it's very likely worth, nearly half a century later, less than $1 billion. That's your play? If you're watching this, congratulations, you've not yet been corrupted by the internet and your short attention span. I know mine went away with Dramatic Hamster, and then it was just solidified with History of Dance. That guy can really do the Ice Ice Baby. Here's the thing. You may not know this is a clip from a full 3-hour radio show. You can see that full show by clicking next to me. I think there's something else playing in another box. It might be another short video. I don't know. I can't be bothered to do my research. You're still here.